everyone, welcome to my channel, or if we've hung out before, welcome back. I'm Amy, and this week we're making another classic autumn staple, but you know we're gonna make this with a twist because just like every good mystery, there always has to be a twist. Today, we're making apple pie, but not just any apple pie. We're making rum-butter apple pie, and this pie will just knock your socks right off. So without any further ado, because none of us want to wait any longer than we have to for this beauty, let's get cooking. We're starting with the sauce, and this comes together in like 5 minutes. To a small saucepan over medium heat, add 3 tablespoons of butter. When the butter is pretty melty but not bubbling, we're going to pour in our little twist ingredient, which is 1/3 cup of Sailor Jerry spiced rum. Because in this house, the rum is never gone. Add 1 cup of lightly packed brown sugar and give this a really good stir because we want that sugar to get all mixed in with the butter and the rum. Next, add a teaspoon of coarse salt and bring this all to a boil. Now when it boils, turn the heat down to low and stir it constantly because this will turn into molten lava. It only needs to boil for maybe about a minute or so while you stir, and then pull it off the heat so the sugar doesn't scorch. At the moment, it's gonna look pretty thin, but it thickens up a lot as it cools. Now we need to get our apple filling ready. Peel 6 to 7 apples, or you can make your husband do it, and which variety is entirely up to you. I'm using grannysmith apples because they give the pie a nice tartness to balance out all that brown sugar. These apples were picked early and are pretty small, so I'm using 7, and that ended up being perfect for the pie, but you may only need 6 or even 5 if your apples are a lot larger than these ones. Next, core them and slice all of them up nice and thin, about 1/4 inch in thickness, and toss them all in a large bowl. Add 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 3/4 cup of lightly packed brown sugar, and 1½ teaspoons of apple pie spice. If you don't have apple pie spice at home, which I didn't, I've included a recipe in the description that uses ingredients you may already have in your pantry. Now just get in there with clean hands or a wooden spatula, spoon, whatever's most comfortable for you, and toss this all around until the apples are nicely coated. Like seasoned fries, but apples. Set this to the side and preheat your oven to 425 Fahrenheit so it's ready to go when our pie is ready, because now it's time for the pie crust. And this is a pretty butter heavy pie crust, so it's even more crazy than a normal pie crust, if that's even possible. But out of all the pie crusts I've made, this is the clear winner. You can do this by hand with a pastry blender or a fork, but I'm using a food processor because it just makes everything easier and faster. To the food processor, add 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of regular granulated sugar, and a teaspoon of coarse salt. Pulse this once or twice to mix it up, or give it a good stir if you're doing this by hand. Now we need to prepare the absolute insanity of butter that goes into this crust. We need a total of 1¼ cups of butter, which is 2½ sticks. And this butter has to be cold, like really, really cold, but not quite frozen. Dice all of the butter up into cubes like I'm doing here, and pop each stick back into the fridge as you finish dicing it so it all stays very cold. This really cold butter is what's gonna make our pie crust crazy flaky, like ridiculously flaky and buttery. It's gonna be awesome. When all the butter's diced up, start adding it to the food processor or the bowl and mixing it in with the pulse button or a fork or a pastry blender if you're doing it by hand. I added it in 2 batches and pulsed it together a few times in between. You only want to mix this just until it starts coming together and not being chunks of butter and flour. As soon as the butter is broken down, add 1/2 tablespoon of white vinegar and 1 well-beaten egg. Then pulse or mix this again for just a moment till it comes together, and it should still look like sand at this point. Last, add ice cold water by the spoonful and mix it until the flour mixture starts to look like slightly clumpy sand that will hold together if you squeeze it, but still falls right back apart again if you break the piece of dough apart. I only needed about 2 spoonfuls of water, but you could need less or more depending on your flour, temperature, humidity, planetary alignment, whatever. Next, get yourself a good work surface, and we want to flour everything, and I mean everything. Flour the surface, the rolling pin, the dough, your hands, throw some over your left shoulder for luck, flour everything. Dump out that pie dough, and if you use a food processor, be careful of the blade. Form the dough into a rough ball, but make sure to work quickly here because we need that butter to stay cold. Cut the dough into 2 pieces and put one into the fridge. Form the one you kept out into a round and then roll it out to about 11 inches in diameter, which should be a good size to fit your pie dish. Make sure to keep plenty of flour underneath this so it comes off the work surface without tearing once it's all rolled out. Grab a standard 9-inch pie dish and either oil or butter it really well. Then lay the pie crust in the pan and gently press the dough into the bottom and up the sides. This will tear very easily, but you can always pull a little and work it into the tear and it'll turn out just fine when it bakes. You just want your crust to come the whole way up the sides and over the little lip around the edge. Our next step is to add in our apple pie filling. I would recommend doing this by hand and in small batches because these apples will just go right through that crust. Make sure the apples are laying flat as well so we don't have like weird apple spikes popping through the top crust either, because anything above the crust will dry out in the oven and we definitely don't want dry apples in our apple pie. When all the apples are layered in the pie dish, they should come right to the top and be level with the flared out edge of the dish. Next, grab that lovely rum-butter sauce we made, which should be nicely cooled and thickened by now, and drizzle about half of it onto the apples. Next is our top crust. So pull the second half of the dough out of the fridge, make it into a round and roll it out just like the first half. And here is where you could just drop it on top and make a full top crust, or you can get fancy like I'm gonna do. If you go for a full top, just make sure to crimp the edges together with your fingers, remove any excess crust hanging over the side. Cut some lines into the crust for venting, and then the pie is ready for the oven. But we're getting fancy, and I'm gonna make a beautiful lattice crust for this. I use my pizza cutter to cut out 1-inch strips in the dough so the strips would be nice and even. You could also use a rolly cutter or a sharp knife. Here you can see how I'm making this lattice. The first is always a little funky because you have to get your lattice started with like the over-under pattern. But after that, I pull each strip up in an alternating pattern and then lay a strip horizontally across them. Then I change the strips so the previously pulled back ones are now lying flat, and put another strip down. Just like the first, be very gentle with this so the lattice strips don't tear. When the whole lattice is finished, I pinch the edges so they stay together, but I don't need to make any vents in this because the spaces between the dough strips will provide plenty of openings in the crust. Check out that finished product. How cool is that? Pop this in the oven, bake it at 425 Fahrenheit for 45 minutes. Check it every 15 minutes, and if the crust seems to be getting too dark too fast, wrap the whole top up with foil. After 45 minutes, pull it out of the oven, remove the foil if you ended up needing it, and I definitely did. And look at that pie. This is just gorgeous. A beautifully golden crust, and I can see the filling just bubbling away in there. This pie is picture perfect. And now comes the hard part. This pie has to cool completely or the filling will be very liquid. Like the sauce we made, it has to cool to set. You could eat it warm, and it will still taste absolutely stunning, but the slices will not be slices, they're just gonna look like apple crumble. And you know I couldn't wait, because this smells so good and I just didn't have any self-control. Plus, I wanted to try it warm and cold so I could tell you whether one style was clearly superior. Here is the warm yumminess, a couple of scoops of vanilla ice cream and a drizzle of the sauce we saved before, and this bowl is pure taste bud heaven right here. It may look more like apple crumble than apple pie, but it tastes like warm caramel apples with a flaky buttery crumble and a little spicedrum boozy kick, especially in the sauce drizzle on top. And that drizzle is necessary. It really just brings out the twist in this pie. And here is the cold yumminess. I tried this the next day after the pie completely cooled in the fridge overnight. The pie slice is like a food advertisement. You know, like when you go into a restaurant, they have all those perfect pie slice pictures in the menu that we all know are not actually real food. You know, like how they use glue for milk on cereal box pictures. Yeah, this looks like that, only you can actually eat this one. I mean, look at that pie. I'll be amazed if it survives the night, and it tastes almost exactly like it did warm. Still lovely caramel apple flavor with a buttery flaky crust and that little rum zing and that drizzle on top. That is the chef's kiss right there. I do have to tell you, this one was the clear winner. If you want a homemade apple pie that'll impress everyone, this is it, and serve it cold. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this recipe, and leave me a comment with your favorite pies, or your favorite apple recipes, or even just to say hi. It really helps out my channel. Come and hang out with me on Wednesdays because we're starting some tasty and spooky Halloween recipes throughout October, and this Wednesday is going to be so much fun. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you back next Sunday for some more cozy and comforting home-cooked food. Bye!